So I won't sing it to you, but the words were something like this: I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's got to be strong. He's got to be fast. He's got to be fresh from the fight. You remember that? I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. He's got to be sure. He's got to be soon. And he's got to be larger than life. Larger than life. Do you remember that song? Do I need to put the tune to it? The young people don't. I know you don't. That was way before your time. But I need a hero. It's kind of a common thing. How many of us need heroes? I think a lot of us, most of us need. How many of you had heroes in your life? Yeah? Yeah, I have. I mean, I grew up in the age of the superhero. It was what was on TV. It was on the funny pages. It was, superheroes were a big thing. And I remember I grew up with Superman, Spider-Man, Batman. Batman was big in the afternoons. I came home and I'd watch that like all the time. Adam West just died this week, right? This week. It's funny. So I grew up with those superheroes, even the cartoons of was it Mighty Mouse and Underdog. Superheroes, right? Don't play down the cartoons. Those guys were real. I mean, they were real to me when I was a kid. But as I grew up, I came to find out they really weren't real, were they? You know, I was like, what? I've been watching this investing all this time and following these guys all this time, and I really, as a kid, small child, I believe, wow, that's so cool to have those superpowers, be able to fly in the air and shoot webs out of you. I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man was so cool to me. You could shoot those spider webs out of your. You remember? You don't act like you didn't watch Spider-Man. I know you did. Anyway, but I love the superheroes, and I realized they were fake. They were just somebody's imagination, weren't they? Somebody with a great imagination to come up with those superheroes for me to follow. So my heroes evolved a little bit as I got older, and they, went to sports heroes, right? We all have, because they do extraordinary things, like Michael Jordan. It's like he could fly. It was almost like he was Superman. He could just fly through the air. Do incredible things. I mean, one thing for sure, if you watch Michael Jordan play basketball, sometime during that game you were going to see something that was going to make you go, what? How did he do that? That's just almost magical. But even him, he's just a human being, right? He doesn't really have any superpowers. As I got older and I got wiser, I started looking at, well, who are the real heroes of this world? And today I think I look at the heroes are men and women in uniform. People who put their lives on the line for us. Whether in the armed services or police officers or firemen or rescue squad workers. Those people who rush in when everybody else is rushing out. Right? I consider them to be heroes. And sometimes it's just passerbyers. The guy who stops to help because somebody else is in trouble. May not be wearing a uniform, but has that heart of gold that says, I need to help my neighbor, right? I need to step in here. I need to do something. And sometimes it costs them their lives. They may not have intended it. They may not have thought that was the bill they were writing, but that's what happened, right? Happens sometimes. So those guys to me are heroes. Because I think we all, in a way, need heroes. And today, in this long, long passage that we just read, there's a lot of the Old Testament heroes mentioned, but people who did extraordinary things. Now they weren't superheroes in the way that we think of superheroes, because they didn't have like Abraham wasn't able to leap tall buildings in a single man, right? Noah wasn't faster than a locomotive, right? None of those things, right? They didn't have those superpowers like we think, but they did extraordinary things. But how did they do extraordinary things? They did things that changed the world. They did things that changed the people around them. How did they do that? Through God. By the two words that were in there 152 times, by faith, right? By faith. Every sentence started off by faith they did these things. By faith they did this. By faith they did that, right? Each of them did it by faith. And part of faith is having the courage to have faith. Because a lot of times we want to have faith. We want to be people of faith. Oh, it's so hard to step out there. It's so hard to put that foot forward and say, I believe. I'm just going to step out there on faith. How many of you have ever stepped out on faith? You know what I've found? Every time you step out on faith, you get blessed. It's been true for me. I can't speak for you, but I've always been blessed. I've always been blessed every time I step out in faith. You see, the first step of stepping out in faith is to have courage to be available for God to use you. Each one of these people had faith, and God was able to what? To use them to do extraordinary things. And over the next few weeks, over the summer, we're going to be talking about these people individually. This is kind of an introduction into what we call the chapter of faith. Hebrews chapter 11 is known as the chapter of faith because it's by faith, by faith. And I read through a good part of it. And you saw these people, these superheroes or heroes in the Old Testament mentioned, these characters. And we're going to be talking, I'm going to be starting a series. I won't be here next week, but the week after that, when I come back, we'll take up Abraham. And then we'll take up one by one, we'll take up these heroes, and we'll see different characteristics that they have. And the one thing that they all had was they had that faith that carried them through. They made themselves available for God to use. How many of you are courageous? It takes courage to raise your hand. Hey, that's probably the hardest thing. When you're in a group of people and somebody says, how many of you have this? And everybody's like, everybody else? Okay, everybody else is raising their hand. I'll raise mine. You know, but it takes courage to stand out and be different, doesn't it? It takes courage to be yourself. It takes courage to be faithful to God, to go where you're led to go. That takes courage. And sometimes we have courage and we don't even know it. I remember a story of a little boy. Two little boys went to the dentist office, and the first little boy walked up to said, I need a tooth pulled, and we ain't got time for Novocaine. We ain't got time to deaden that tooth. We just need you to go in there and pull that tooth because we're in a hurry. But then it's like, wow, that's really brave of you. He said, that's incredible courage because it could hurt to have your tooth pulled. It might not. But that's courageous for you to say that. So which tooth is it, son? He said, Tommy, show him your tooth. Sometimes we're brave for other people, aren't we? Sometimes we recognize the people being brave around us, and we don't recognize the braveness in ourselves. But I want to tell you, you can be brave. And you know what? You can be a hero. You can be a hero to somebody else. And sometimes we don't even understand that we are. Sometimes we don't understand that we're being watched by other people. Sometimes we don't understand that we're a model. But what are you a model of? That's a good question, isn't it? If somebody was looking at me, would they say, well, there goes a good example of what it means to be a Christian? Or would they say, well, that goes a good example of what it means to be a mess? You know? For me, they'd probably say, that crazy dude right there, that guy's out of his mind. That's okay. I know I'm not normal. I'm fine with that. I like being abnormal. But what does it mean to be a model to somebody? Do you have children that look up to you? Do you have grandchildren that look at what you do? How about your neighbors? How about people who don't know you? How about your employees? Are they watching? Sure they are. Sometimes you don't know it. They're watching. How many people do you watch? Can you remember watching people when you grow up? When you wanted to learn how to be an adult, what did you do? You watched adults to see what they did, right? You can tell a child that grows up in a household where there's a lot of screaming because when they need something, what do? They scream. It's what they've learned. It's what they know. So kids are watching. People are watching. And they want to know, are you someone of faith? Now, I ask that question because a lot of times we think, well, you got to be some kind of saint to walk in faith. You got to be somebody extraordinary like Abraham or Noah or, those people who just did extraordinary things throughout the Bible. God doesn't work like that anymore. That's what people say. I don't see God working like that in people anymore. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. I think God's working all over the place. And you got to look for it. That He uses ordinary people. Just run-of-the-mill, broken, cracked people. And He takes them, if they make themselves available, and He does extraordinary things with them. He's able to use them to do some really great things. But they have to make themselves available. And as I was putting this sermon together, God said, you need to share with them your story. And I hate my story. I mean, I don't hate the story, but I hate to share it. And I've shared parts of my story with you before. But I'm going to share a little bit of a sequence with you today. Not that I consider myself to be a hero by any stretch of the imagination. But I just want to demonstrate to you something that when people are faithful, when people listen to God's word, when they listen to his call, he will do extraordinary things. So the best way for me to do that is to tell you a piece of my story, because it's my story. You have a story yourself. And a lot of you have a story that you never tell it. But I want to encourage you to tell it to other people, because it's a way of letting people know how God's working. With that being said, I want to take you back. I was 36 years old. That's a long time ago. I was 36 years old when I started to feel a call to the ministry. Now, I went to see a friend of mine, a good friend of mine from college, invited me to go see Charles Stanley speak, because his dad was friends with him and they were coming to Durham. And I got a ticket. You all want to come? Yeah, well, I guess we'll come. I don't know who this guy is. This Charles Stanley. I hadn't heard of him. I mean, I was active in church and stuff, but I didn't know who Charles Stanley was. But I said, yeah, I'll come. So we drove a couple hours and went to see him. Charles wasn't there. Charles was sick. His son came, Andy Stanley. I think that was step one. I think I love Charles, but I don't know that Charles would have inspired me like Andy inspired me. And Andy gave a message that just set me on fire. And I started to look at things a little bit differently. I started to look at my relationship with God a little bit differently. And he just had the right words. And that message that night, and I can't even tell you what that message was about. I can tell you the ending of it, but we'll get into that. But it turned my whole vision around. And I started looking at my relationship with God differently. And that was the beginning of the call. And I was already active working with the youth group and Sunday school, and I was active in the church, but I never felt like I was someone to be a pastor, someone who was called to preach, because basically getting up and speaking in front of people nauseated me. I mean, I was scared to death to get up and speak. This is a true story. I mean, the year before I entered ministry, they gave me a one-line sentence in a play. I almost threw up. I was so scared to say that. I'm petrified of people. I'm an introvert by trade. I do it very well. I'm not an outgoing person. It's just not me. So when God started to call me and lay on my heart that I should be a minister, I'm like, you got the wrong guy. I said, you picked the wrong guy. My brothers both are very outgoing and both are good speakers. My brother Kurt, I mean, he's probably, in all seriousness, one of the best speakers I know. He can take people and he can make them cry and laugh in a 30-second thing. He's just incredible. I said, Kurt's your man. God. I was kind of had the Moses thing going. You take my brother, right? But God said, no, that's not what I want. He said, I want you. I'm like, wow. So I said, God, I got girls that are in private school. I got bills to pay. I got things to do. I got my life going on. I'm really good where I'm at. Thanks, but no thanks. I just, but he kept working on me, because that's what God does. He keeps pulling at my heart, And finally I said, well, you know what I'll do? I'll go talk to the pastor about this. Because he'll tell me, oh, you're just imagining things, and you need to go home and just be content where you're at. You got children to take care of and bills to pay. And I went to the preacher, and he said, I'm going to let you go talk to the regional minister. You were supposed to say no. You were my out. I was waiting for you to tell me out, but the regional minister will clearly see that I don't need to be doing this, and he'll tell me no. And he did. But he told me what I needed to do. So if you're going to need you have your undergraduate, I said no. I said, last time I was in school, they asked me to take a break. I think because I thought school was a break, but that's a different story. So I said, well, he said, you'll need your undergraduate to go to seminary, and I said, okay. So the next obstacle was this, is that how am I going to get back into school? I'll go to school because surely they'll tell me no, and I'll be done, and I'll be out, because I'm looking for that way out, right? But I'm still following, because I know this is where God's calling me. I said, well, if there's going to be a way, you'll make the way. And sure enough, I went to school and said, we have this forgiveness solution. We'll give you credit for the classes you pass, when you were here, and then you'll keep those grades and you'll let everything else go. Well, that was a total of 12 credit hours. So it was like starting school all over again. I'm 36 years old. I haven't been in school in 17 years. So I'm like, wow, okay. So they'll take me back. Well, I have no excuses. So I can't pay for it. Financial aid came through and paid for it. They said, yeah, you qualify for financial aid and we can do that. But I have bills to pay. God provided me with a job that was a consulting job because I had been in the restaurant business where I was consulting this food and beverage operation. Paid me what I wanted to be paid and worked with my hours. What? Come on, quit showing off, guys. This is getting crazy. But it wasn't a lot of money, but it was enough to pay some bills. And I started school and I got a chance to share Christ for the first time during my speech class during the first semester. Because you had to answer like 5 questions in a speech. And one of them was, what was the greatest just remember, what was the greatest day of your life? And so I'm sitting there with a bunch of 18-year-olds. I'm 36. I'm like, what's something really cool I can say? It's going to impress these 18-year-olds. And the old me would have said something really cool. But the new me said the greatest day of my life was accepting Christ. What? You're talking to 18-year-olds. You're not supposed to be saying stuff like that. Don't you want to be cool? It didn't matter. I wasn't there to be cool. I was there because I was on a mission from God that He had sent me. He had called me. And if I was going to do this, then I really needed to do this. School went on, and, I did really well. I mean, I'm not bragging. God did really well. I'm kind of a dummy, but God provided me what I needed. And, I was on honor roll or dean's list the whole way through. It was amazing. I was like, wow, this is really good. It's amazing if you go to class, it makes all the difference in the world in your grades. But it's one of those life lessons. But I went through, and the last semester I needed an internship. Well, let me go back. I still had those girls in private school, remember? That I needed to pay for their tuition. And I, we did it for a little while, and it was really getting kind of tough. And I got called into the principal's office one day, and I was like, what have my girls done? Parents should love that, right? When you get a call from the principal and she said, we need to see you in the office. And I was like, oh, what did they do? And I got there, and it kills me every time I tell this story, but I got there and I walked in the office and I said, yeah, how you doing? You good? She goes, I won't keep you but a minute, but I wanted to let you know that an anonymous person, someone who wanted to stay anonymous, has paid your daughter's tuition for the rest of the year. Not only for this year, but as long as she's at this school. What? Just wow. Just wow. I mean, God had blessed me. I mean, my tears flowed that day. When I tell it, I get a little choked up. Because, I mean, it's God showing off. He was showing off. He was like, I'll provide for you. What are your words? Have faith. Walk by faith. Be faithful. And I continued that walk. As I got to the last semester of school, and I knew I wanted to go to LTS, and I felt like that was where I was called to go to. I had no idea how to get in, or how I was going to get there, or how my family was going to move there, or how we were going to afford it, because we didn't have any money saved up. My wife would have to be out of work for a while. I just didn't know. I didn't know how that was going to go. But I just knew that's where I was called to go. As you know, those things started looming. I had the summer still before me. I was working at the church on an internship, which God provided again, because I needed to have an internship to graduate. And the church provided it, and he even paid me a little money. But as I went to the going into that summer, there was a camp, and they asked me to be the head of that camp, summer camp for 8th graders. And they said it's the biggest camp of the summer. It was like 80-some 8th graders. They said you'll need to recruit all your counselors, and you'll need a nurse. I said, okay, do you have anywhere I can start with this? And they gave me a list. Oh yeah, here's a list of people that have done it in the past, and I started making calls, and I got a couple maybes, and no, not this year. I got a handful of yeses, but I needed 12, and I had like 3 or 4. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, it was the end of the semester was coming up, and June was quickly approaching. I said, God, you led me to this. This is your plan. You wanted me to be here. We had this conversation. I said, but I need you to take care of this, because I'm out of options. I don't know who else to call, I don't know where else to go. I've done everything I can do. And God said, I got this. Don't worry about it. Now, I'm going to tell you, I didn't place another call. I got some calls, but I didn't place any calls. But on opening day, I had 13 counselors and 1 nurse. It's like God said, poof, here, have an extra counselor. He provided. So I knew God would provide. I had a history with God, and God providing for me what I needed. Just small things that you wouldn't think were that big a deal, but they were a big deal. They were a big deal to me, because in my walk, what they did is they encouraged me and gave me the full confidence that no matter what I did or where I went, God was going to take care of me. As school approached the end, I was about to graduate. Man, needed to go to school, LTS, all those problems I told you about just a few minutes ago, still didn't know the answers to. So I said, well, I'll go up to LTS and apply. And I applied, and they came to the interview and said, okay, you're in. It's like, wow, okay, cool. I got accepted to graduate school, to LTS. And I don't know how I'm going to get there, how I'm going to pay for it, but I'm in. Well, a few weeks later, a church called me. And they called me up and said, I want you to come interview. I said, okay, well, I'll come up and interview. They said, we want you to preach. That's your interview. I was like, I've only preached 2 times in my life. I mean, I'm a student. I'm not trained. So I went up there, and God said, just tell them your story. So I went up there, and I didn't preach. I just told them my story. I told them who I was, and what I thought my call was, and what I was doing, and how God was working in my life. And I went home and said, if it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. And I got a call a couple days later. They had voted after I left. They said it was the first time they had a unanimous vote to call someone to the pulpit. So I had a job. I had a job, and I had been accepted, and I had a place to stay, because it came with a parsonage. I was like, that's cool. I got a place to live, but I still didn't have money to move. And I found out later the church would pay for that. I still didn't have any money, because my wife was going to be out of work for weeks if she found something quickly. And as I sat in my office that fall, and I looked through my mail, there was an envelope from EFA. And I was like, these fools think I have money. I started throwing it away. I said, something told me, said, no, you don't throw that way, open it. So I pulled it out of the trash, and I opened it up. I literally put it in the trash. And as I opened it up, said, our client, who would like to remain anonymous, wants you to have this for your ministry. And in there was a check for $5,000. That's no small thing. That's not some little miracle. That's a big miracle. God had answered every excuse that I had given him, because I had made myself available, because I had walked in faith. You say, well, it should be easy for you to walk in faith. All those things happen to you. And it's easier for me to walk in faith, for sure, because me and God have a history. We've been through things together. But that history wouldn't be there if I had not made myself available, you see. Because you have to create the void for God to fill the void. You have to step out to the darkness for God to provide the step for you to be stepping on. If you're not willing to make that step, you'll never recognize God's gifts in your life. Now you say, well, that sounds like you just have the blessedest life and everything's like, no. If I told you that, I'd be lying. If I told you every day was easy, that'd be a lie. As my daughter says, it's not cotton candy and unicorns. It's not that kind of life. God has blessed me more than I can ever say, more than I could give you in a sermon or a message today. But there's been rough days. There's been some very rough days. There's been days I wanted to quit. There's been days I just didn't want to exist. But what kept me going was knowing that the God of the mountaintop is the God of the valley as well. Is that it's easy to be faithful when you're on the mountain. But you need to be equally faithful when you're down in the valley. That the God who carried you through the good times walks with you in the bad times. And He will get you through that. He will carry you through those valleys. And there will be mountaintop days again. If you walk by faith. So my question is, and I've shared probably more of my story than you wanted to hear. But my question is this, is that you each have a story. And you're a story in progress. With each day you write a new paragraph or a new chapter in your book. And when your days are done, and you go to a place where the sun never sets, and they talk about you, how will they talk about you? Will they say, by faith, Charles? By faith, Ronnie? By faith, Billy? By faith, Edith? By faith, Jimmy? Will they say your name? But before it was by faith, they did these incredible things. Why? Not because of their own superpowers or super things, but by God's grace and by making themselves available for God to use them. You see, the challenge is not to try to be some saint, but to be available. We all want to be good, but to walk by faith, you have to make yourself available. My prayer for you, my hope for you, is that you'll see in the coming weeks, as we talk about these everyday people of the Bible, that the biggest thing they had in common was that they listened and made themselves available. That they practiced an uncompromising faith. A faith that carried them through tough times. Sometimes they faltered. Have any of us not? I think we all falter and fall down sometimes. But they got back up. And they continued their journey. I hope the coming weeks will inspire you to live a life that is led by faith. I hope you will challenge yourself to look inside and say, what is it that I'm holding back? You know, we talked about that last week. What is it I'm holding back from God? What part of my life am I not giving Him? And do I have the courage to say, it's all on you, God, and I'm giving it to you, and here it is, and take it, and run with it, because from this day forward, I'm going to walk by faith. It doesn't make you a special person. It is a special relationship that you share with God when you walk by faith. That's my prayer for you. If you pray the same thing, join me in saying, Amen. Amen.